Today, from the Los Angeles Coliseum, it's the Seattle Seahawks versus the Los Angeles Raiders.
Welcome to the Los Angeles Memorial Coliseum. And this, in reality, is the beginning of the playoff season for the Seattle Seahawks and the Los Angeles Raiders. Head coach Chuck Knox. He's a veteran of these kind of games. The winner will take the crown in the AFC West. The loser will go home. If there's a tie, the Seahawks win the AFC West based on a better record. And the head coach of the Los Angeles Raiders, Mike Shanahan, first year as head coach, so first time that he has had this situation. So the butterflies are there for everybody today. The Raiders winning the toss. They'll receive. Norm Johnson will kick off with Tim Brown and Stephon Adams, the deep backs, on the return. And it is taken by Tim Brown. And he is brought down at the 16-yard line. So let's take a look at the offense of the Los Angeles Raiders, led by the quarterback Jay Schroeder, with Marcus Allen and Bo Jackson as the two running backs. You just saw Tim Brown. He'll be in the Pro Bowl. One wide receiver, James Lofton the other. Andy Parker, the scheduled tight end. We could well see Todd Christensen there some. Mospar, Ream, Lewis, Wilkerson, and Graves, the offensive line. And Schroeder comes out throwing. Has pressure, and the pass is complete at the 22-yard line. Andy Parker, the tight end, picks up a gain of 6. That is only his 4th reception on the year. Defensively, Jacob Green, Joe Nash, and Jeff Bryant. The standard 3-4 set. Of course, you know, with the situation substitutions, a lot of changes. Schultz, Como, Wyman, and Woods, the linebackers. Taylor, Jenkins, Moyer, and Robinson in the secondary. And Todd Christensen is in the offensive set, number 46. He has missed 9 of the last 10 games. Bo Jackson. And we'd like to welcome those of you who have just joined us, that you have been watching the Miami-Pittsburgh game. Pittsburgh 40, Miami 24. The ball game here just underway. This is Charlie Jones along with Jimmy Cephalo.
And Charlie, Todd Christensen in the game. We watched him running a little bit in practice yesterday, and he seems still a little bit gimpy. That time they put him in the game just to block, to test out that leg, a calf problem that he's had for the past last half of the season.
A first down for the Raiders at their own 27-yard line. Outside to Lofton, and Lofton is out of bounds at the 42-yard line.
A bit of a
gain of 15 and first down. Go ahead, Jim.
A bit of a surprise. Lofton had maybe 15 yards of a cushion on the left corner. Now this is a kind of a defense, Seattle, that will give a great deal of cushion. They play cautiously, but you can't give somebody like James Lofton 10 and 15 yards. He doesn't have the speed that he had as a younger player, but he's still dangerous in possession situations.
Bo Jackson, the remaining back, and Jackson the ball carrier. Slips a couple of tackles and just keeps motoring along to the Seattle 47.
Jackson not only showing a great deal of speed getting through the hole, but the power that we've come to know that he possesses for the relatively small size that he has. He runs more like a tight end might over a defensive back rather than a running back over a linebacker.
He took Jacob Green with him and then just shed him. A gain of 11, first down at the Seattle 47-yard line. Opening drive, no score in the ball game. Lofton coming in motion. Marcus Allen. And he will lean to the 44. Mark it for 3. It's going to be second down and 7. And notice the glove on the left hand of Marcus Allen. There's a soft cast on that hand. And this does cause him a lot of problems when he carries the ball, because he has to carry the ball in the right hand. So he's been taken out of goal line situations, and that means that he has not scored a touchdown in the last 6 ball games.
All right, the problem of a broken navicular bone, very difficult to heal that, and he'll probably have to go with that soft cast, maybe even to the beginning of next season.
Steve Smith makes his first appearance in the offensive set. Now let's go to New York for an update. All right, thank you, Bob. And Bob Costas will be updating all of the possibilities as the afternoon develops. Jackson back in. Marcus Allen and Bo Jackson both in the offensive set. Raiders pass is almost intercepted. Lofton went up for it. And going with him, Melvin Jenkins.
Charlie, that was the same play as we see Jenkins and Lofton talking to each other a bit after the play. The same play that Lofton was successful on just a couple of minutes ago. And this time Jenkins, number 24, up in front and nearly makes the interception.
Jeff Gossett is kicking. Bobby Joe Edmonds will stay away from it, and it is going to take a Raider roll and will go out of bounds at the 8-yard line. Jay Schrader said that he has to be very patient, and it cannot let the disappointment of the opening drive had it started for a little while and then is stymied. A 34-yard kick, and now Seattle Seahawks from their own 8-yard line. John L. Williams to the 11. He has 3 at second down and 7. Bill Pickell along with Ron Fellows for the defense. A complete look with Townsend, Pickell, and Wise. Howie Long could play some on defense today. King, Millen, Robinson, and Martin, the linebackers. Fellows, Hayes, Carter, and McElroy in the secondary. No score. First offensive opportunity for Seattle. Second down and 7. Again, the winner moves on. The loser is home for the holidays. Play action fake by Craig. Has pressure. Stripped to the ball. Raiders have it. Jerry Robinson makes the play for Los Angeles.
Charlie, we thought we'd see a little bit more of a gambling defense by the LA Raiders, and we see it here. Jerry Robinson did not go for the play action fake in on the blitz. He just gets his hand on the ball of David Craig, and Pickell there for the mop up as the Raiders take over at the 6-yard line. Play action fake did not fool anyone. Robinson right up the gut, the guard trying to come out and help on him, but impossible.
And so the Raiders with the first turnover and the first opportunity just outside of the 5-yard line of Seattle. First down and goal to go. Bo Jackson to the 3. It's going to be second down and goal to go. It would not surprise me to see them stay with that same play with Jackson carrying every time.
No, down here we probably will not see Marcus Allen carry the football, as you mentioned earlier, Charlie. The problem with that left hand, the broken bone that he has, it makes it difficult for him to carry, especially in on the goal line. Want to keep 2 hands on the football, of course. That's why we'll probably see either Smith or Bo Jackson carrying the football. Allen out of the contest on the sideline.
And that is just because, as Jim said, it's short yardage. Jackson. Bo Jackson. His momentum is going to take him. They had marked the previous play to the 4. This one goes to the 3. So it is third down and goal to go as Green and Nash make the stop. And the scores: fourth quarter, Houston barely now in front of Cleveland. Indianapolis barely in front of Buffalo. Jets out in front of the Giants. A little bigger margin, 6 points. Final, Philadelphia downs Dallas. And New Orleans defeats Atlanta by 1. Final, Pittsburgh big over Miami, and Tampa Bay leading Detroit in the 4th. The remaining back is Steve Smith. On the pitch, the reverse, it is Tim Brown. He fumbles. Did he have possession when the ball broke the plane of the goal? He does. Touchdown, Los Angeles. So the Raiders with the first opportunity, and they capitalize on it.
It seems that he might have had the ball knocked out just before he got into the end zone, but he recovered his own fumble for the touchdown.
The reaction to the Diamond Vision here in the Coliseum. And the officials are going to review the touchdown. And we'll take a look.
Here it is. He comes in motion from the strong side of the formation. Gets a good block from Smith on the corner. Now take a look at the football. It comes out before he goes into the end zone, but he does recover it inside the end zone for a touchdown.
And since it is the same man recovering who fumbled it, it can be recovered forward of the point where the ball was fumbled. Somebody else would have recovered it. It would have been outside of the end zone. Would not have been a touchdown, but they would have retained possession. Chris Barr adds one more. And Los Angeles moves out in front of Seattle by a score of 7-0 with exactly 9 minutes left to go in the first quarter. The play was reviewed.
In 1965, total yards, that's either running, receiving, or in kick returns. An incredible year by Tim Brown.
And it won't show up in the statistics, but Robinson and Piquel teamed up to start the drive. Robinson stripping Craig and Piquel, and there's his wife in the middle who recovered the fumble. A 5-yard drive in 3 plays, and the Raiders lead the Seahawks by a score of 7-0. So Chris Barr will now be kicking off with Bobby Joe Edmonds and Kevin Harmon, the deep backs, on the return. And Edmonds moves right in front of Harmon, takes the ball away from him. That could be dangerous. And he'll return it to the 18-yard line. Ron Brown makes the tackle. Let's go to all right, and Bob will keep updating us as we head. Bob, I'm so glad you're with us today with all those possibilities. Kurt Warner. 3 yards from the 18 to the 21. Second down and 7 as Matt Millen makes the tackle. And let's take a look at Matt Millen.
Well, Matt Millen is maybe the most vital part of this defense because the run is what Seattle wants to do today. He makes Bailey, the guard, miss. Gets inside to make the tackle on Kurt Warner. A couple of Penn Staters going at it. What has to happen for the Raiders to win today, though, is they've got to take away Williams and Warner. The last time these two teams played, both Williams and Warner rushed for more than 100 yards apiece.
Largent in motion, Craig to throw. Pass is complete to John L. Williams, all alone in the right flat. Good move. He's to the 50. He is into Raider territory. Will be down at the Los Angeles 44-yard line, 36 yards on the play. Lionel Washington made the tackle.
There's a mistake here somewhere, Charlie, in the defense of the Raiders. I told you they were going to be gambling. It seems like they had a blitz on of some sort, although I can't find the player who's in the backfield. John L. Williams, nobody touched him whatsoever. He makes McElroy, number 26, miss, and then gets along down the sideline. If Ron Fellows, number 21, doesn't have that kind of speed, then John L. Williams is in the end zone. It
was Fellows, not Washington, that made the stop. I'd like to welcome those of you that have been watching the Buffalo-Indianapolis game. Indianapolis won that one by 3, 17-14. Bob Costas just giving us that update. Warner set up inside, jumps outside, and is chased out of bounds at the 36-yard line. Gain of 7. It'll be second down and 3. Townsend chasing Kurt Warner. Here the score, the Raiders 7 and Seattle nothing, with 7:16 time remaining. We're in the first quarter. As Dave, and of all the possibilities, this is the easy one.
Yeah, the winner goes on, the loser stays home.
Second and 3. Kurt Warner. A gain of a yard to the 35. It'll be third down and 2. Let's go to New York. A former teammate of yours, I didn't think he could play that well in the cold because he was used to the heat of Miami.
Yeah, but he grew up in Pennsylvania, so most of his football days as a youngster were formed in that cold weather.
Third down and 2. 6 in the secondary. Craig from the shotgun with Williams back with him. Open is large, a touchdown.
Touchdown, Seahawks. Steve Largent with a touchdown.
Steve Largent, 35 yards. That is touchdown number 97 in his career. Only 2 off the NFL record held by the great Don Hudson.
And wait till you see the move that Steve Largent put on Mike Caines, a couple of veterans going after one another. He made an out move and then back up the field. It's a move that Largent has patented. In fact, around football circles, sometimes you call it the Largent move. He makes the out and back up the field, but you think that Mike Haynes, the veteran, would have been ready for it.
An 82-yard drive in 5 plays. 2 big pass plays. One to John L. Williams of 36 yards and the 35-yard touchdown to Steve Largent. Extra point is good, and we've got a tie ball game with 6:25 left to go. We're in the first quarter in the Coliseum in Los Angeles.
He's made more people look
Years ago,
yeah,
when that streak started?
Right, and you've got to wonder.
You were playing high school ball when the streak started.
And you were calling NFL
That's,
football
of course
games.
I was, yes.
You have to wonder whether or not Steve Largent would decide to retire. There's been some speculation, although he has not fueled it whatsoever. So this, in theory, could be his last football game.
Tim Brown to the 20, breaks it to the 30, and returns to the 35-yard line. Now let's go to New York for an update. Oh, yes, Bob. There'll be a quiz. Schrader comes out throwing. Drops it off. That's a lateral. It was behind him. Marcus Allen on the receiving end. And updating the scores that Bob was talking about. We'll give you a complete rundown of what has happened. In the fourth quarter, Cleveland leading Houston. Of course, that touchdown that we talked about a moment ago. A final now, Indianapolis defeating Buffalo. Jets defeat the Giants. Philadelphia over Dallas. And New Orleans by 1 over Atlanta. Miami losing to Pittsburgh. And Tampa Bay defeating Detroit. And here the score is tied. Oops. Green Bay and Phoenix no score. Kansas City, San Diego tied at 7. Those games just underway, as is ours. We were tied here at 7-7. With just under 5.5 minutes to go in the first quarter. Here's Marcus Allen. And he's ready to pull down at the 29-yard line. So you lose a couple of yards on the play.
Jacob Green came into his own last week. He had a very good month of September, then slowed down the middle of the year. Here you see him fighting off Graves, Roy Graves, number 60, to get to the ball carrier. But Green, known as the sack man, he's been doing it his entire career. Until last week, though, he had gone for much of the season 9 games without a sack.
Raiders go with 3 wide receivers, 3rd down and 16. Raiders now has pressure, rolls away. And it is intercepted. He was trying to throw it away and was not successful, and the Raiders have the interception. Terry Taylor picked it up on the sideline of Los Angeles. Capitalize immediately. Yes, they'll go to the end zone. Craig, so he's going to keep it. And he leans to the 19. So he salvages 4 on the play. And it'll be 2nd down and 6 as Piquel makes the tackle.
Now that's something that Dave Craig knows how to do. People have criticized Dave Craig through the years, but when you look at his statistics, he is the 4th-ranked quarterback in NFL history. Hard to believe as far as statistics are concerned. And he does the smart thing, as opposed to what Schrader did before when he tossed the ball up for grabs. Craig has nobody open. He's going to just tuck it away and hit the ground. You come back on 2nd down. There's no sense giving the ball back to the Raiders inside the 20-yard line.
2nd and 6. John L. Williams. Couple of yards to the 17. It's going to be 3rd down and 4. Lyndon King makes the tackle. And Kurt Warner is holding his left knee. So we have an injury timeout. The clock is stopped with 3:33 left to go in a tie ball game, first quarter, tied at 7-7. Let's see. Howie Long has come into the ball game. He has been out for 9 games with that calf injury. 3rd down and 4. Craig from the shotgun. Williams the back with him. Drops it underneath the coverage. Touchdown.
Seahawks.
Brian Blaze. 17 yards. And the Seahawks move in front. The 7th touchdown of the year for Brian Blaze. And Taylor's interception set it all up.
Brian Blades, who has idolized Steve Largent for many years, said at the University of Miami he used to watch as much film of Steve Largent as possible to find out how he ran patterns, how he moved. And sure enough, when he was drafted by the Seahawks, he was able to become a teammate of his. And we'll show you after this kick just what kind of a move he put on a defensive back. He's learned quite a bit from Largent in his first year.
Norm Johnson, who has now hit, including this game, 126 straight extra points, adds one more. And the Seahawks move up on the Raiders by a score of 14-7.
But he got a smart quarterback also because teams usually donate 2 players to try and block him, freeing up people from the other side of the line of scrimmage.
But he is not. There's Warner, who will come back. But Howie Long is not 100%.
No, he's not.
About 80%, maybe 82%.
Right. So the question,
83.
The question is Howie Long better at 83% than someone else at 100%? I think yes. Now, whether or not they're going to have him for the playoffs if he's injured today, hey, you don't get into the playoffs unless you win today. So they're using Howie Long.
And Norm Johnson will be kicking off. Tim Brown is the deep back in the middle. Stephon Adams is off to the side. And this one will go out of bounds. Out of bounds on the kickoff. Of course, that means that the Raiders will take the ball at their own 35-yard line. That's where they'll start. Seattle up 14-7. Bo Jackson, the ball carrier.
Bo Jackson, we've been told, has been blocking quite a bit better this time, his second year with the LA Raiders. It's been difficult for him because he had to come into yet another offensive scheme. When he came in as a rookie last year after playing with the Royals, he had one offensive thought, and now coming back this season, a new head coach, a new offensive system, he had to learn the new numbers, the new offensive scheme all over again.
Raider to throw. Fernandez. 49-yard line of Seattle. 13 yards. First down.
Fernandez averaging nearly 27 yards per catch. Leads the NFL. You can tell this is a zone because Taylor, number 24, the defensive back, is simply backing up, looking into the... I'm sorry, number 24, Melvin Jenkins. Looking into the quarterback's eyes. That's how you can tell the zone. When a receiver comes off the line of scrimmage, if the quarterback moves with him, it's man-to-man. If he backs straight up, you've got zone cover.
Bo Jackson. 4 yards to the 45. It'll be second down and 6. Now, as we'll continue to sort out the scores and to sort out the standing and who will be playing in the playoffs. Look at the scores in the fourth quarter. Cleveland leading Houston by 5. It's a final Indianapolis over Buffalo. Buffalo losing home field advantage. In the playoffs, that'll go to Cincinnati. The Jets defeating the Giants 27-21, so the Giants don't win. That means that Philadelphia wins in the East since they defeat Dallas 23-7. We'll come back to some more scores. And on the next update from Bob Costas, he'll really explain that if I got all this correct. Jackson, 45, 40, good head fake down at the 44, maybe the 38-yard line. 39 to the 38 where he went down. And it was Tony Woods along with Melvin Jenkins that stopped him. Now we'll go back, just as I promised, to the scores. Pittsburgh big over Miami, and Tampa Bay defeated Detroit. Those, of course, are 2 finals. Green Bay, interesting. Green Bay leading Phoenix 13-0. Kansas City's leading San Diego. Now, Dallas lost. Green Bay wins. That means that Dallas would have the #1 draft choice.
That's right.
There's some cheering.
Troy Aikman is having a good time here in Los Angeles, thinking about going to Dallas.
Marcus Allen. Just inside the 35. We'll call it the 34. Jeff Bryant and Darren Como with the tackle. We'll take a countdown. A reminder to our viewers that we'll be selecting the Budweiser Most Valuable Player for today's game at the conclusion of the game. Todd Christensen in the offensive set for the Raiders. We're in the first quarter. Seattle is in front by 7. Fernandez in motion. Little play action fake to Marcus. And Schrader's in the grass. Play is blown dead. Joe Nash has the sack, and that is his second of the year, the first of the ball game, and the 28th for the Seahawks.
And a bit surprising that Joe Nash coming straight up the gut, beating Bill Lewis, number 51, the center for the Raiders. Surprising in that, as you mentioned, Charlie, he had just 1 sack on the season. But there is also some pressure coming from Schrader's right-hand side. Bryant, number 77, being pushed away. But from the left, Jacob Green adding a bit of pressure. And when you've got a Jacob Green and a Jeff Bryant on the end, you spend a lot of time with them, allowing Joe Nash to come up the gut.
And that is the end of the first quarter with the score. Seattle 14 and Los Angeles 7. And again, I thought it would be a more...
Los Angeles could become just the second Raider rookie coach to win a division title. The first one was John Madden in 1969. Yet, despite the possibility of a championship, there has been rumors that maybe Mike Shanahan would not be returning.
And a win by Seattle would be their first championship in 13 years. Play has been blown dead. It would be their first division championship in history. It would be the 4th time in the 6-year tenure of Chuck Knox that they'd go to the playoffs. False start. False start by Chris Rain.
And what a...
Did you not, Fred? Get away, I'll explain what it is. Don't enter my space. The statistics in the first quarter: rushing yard, passing yardage.
Look at the time of possession. The Raiders have had the ball for most of the quarter. Again, it's the 2 turnovers that's given us the score that we have, 14-7, the Seahawks over the Raiders, which are the only numbers that count, by the way.
Schrader with a great arm, goes deep, has a man. Touchdown, Willie Galt.
That's what Jay Schrader does best. He throws the long ball. And that is the old-time Raiders. You know, with the new offensive philosophy under Mike Shanahan, there's been a lot of underneath throws. But that's the old Raider football. Just let them run deep and toss it up.
And Chris Barr ties it up at 14-14. It's been a winter of discontent for Willie Galt. He's had some injuries. That is only the 15th reception of the year and only his 2nd touchdown, and he pumps those on.
He sure does. He pumps the arms real well. Robinson, number 41, has got to be deeper in that zone to try to take this away, but unable to. Number 23, Patrick Hunter, trying to come over. But not only does the speed work here, it's the arm of Schrader throwing the long ball, not putting too much air underneath it to allow his safety to get over. That's why he throws the... And he's got to go ahead and do it again next week. That's not an easy task against that Houston defense.
Kevin Harmon and Bobby Joe Edmonds are the deep backs on the return. And here is Bobby Joe. To the 40, the 45, the 50. And he is caught. Lionel Washington saves a touchdown. 66 yards on the return.
We saw Edmonds step in front of a previous kickoff to take the ball away. And this is why good kickoff returners don't hesitate whatsoever. He doesn't do anything else but make a beeline straight to the kicker. Chris Barr couldn't make the catch. They finally pull him down from behind.
And we want to welcome those of you that are watching that great Houston-Cleveland game. We've got a tie game working here. Cleveland, as you know, won that one by 5. Little play action fake over the middle, incomplete. Mike Tice, the tight end, could not pull it in. We've just had a 66-yard kickoff return by Bobby. towards the end zone, and it is incomplete. Blades the intended receiver, and Fellows with good coverage with him all the way. It'll be 3rd and 10.
And Fellows winds up on an island all by himself. The Seahawks put enough people in motion, and what it did was leave Blades man-to-man coverage against Fellows. And Craig simply underthrew this football because Blades had the angle to the goalpost, and he knew it too. Take a look at the reaction as Jerry Robinson gives him a spin. He put a little bit too much air underneath the football.
Craig 3 of 5, 88 yards. He has thrown for 2 touchdowns. 3rd and 10. As pressure throws back on a delayed screen to John L. Williams to the 20, to the 15, to the 14-yard line. Gain of 11. It should be a first down. And the game's in progress along with ours. To give you an update on those scores. A ring, a big check, and a trophy. And that's what it's all about, because the playoff season has actually started for the Raiders and the Seahawks. Here's Kurt Warner. Williams, the lead blocker, little head fake inside. Good defensive play. No, he knows. He knows.
Hey,
he heard the whistle.
Let me tell you,
you know those Penn State
he's
guys.
as big a ham as there is in football today. But also one of the most intense football players. As intense as any player I've ever seen. When I walked over to him, I said, "What's wrong, Matt? Are you all right?" He said, "I just got my game face on a day early."
Craig to throw. In trouble and decked at the 20-yard line. Greg Townsend gets the sack. A loss of 5. It'll be 3rd down and 16.
Townsend's been having quite a year as far as pass rushing is concerned. He's now got 10.5 sacks. And without Howie Long in the lineup, it's tough because people now can send 2 people over against Greg Townsend to try and double team him. But Howie Long is back on the field, and that's good news for Townsend and the rest of the Raiders.
Craig in a shotgun with John L. Williams back with him. Long rushing from inside. And it is incomplete. Brian Blades, the intended receiver, in the end zone. And it will be 4th down and 16. 12 minutes and 20 seconds left to go in the first half. We have not had a flag.
That's surprising in a game with the Raiders playing, isn't it? This time, Fellows does the good job of staying on the inside shoulder of Blades, and that's why he's in better position this time than he was just a couple of plays ago.
I was wrong. We've had 2 flags. There was that false start at the beginning of the second quarter and the kickoff that went out of bounds, and that's an automatic flag. That's still not a lot of flags. 39-yard field goal attempt by Norm Johnson. Well within his range. Larger to hold. Hits the upright. And it goes through. We've got a timeout. The Seahawks have the lead, 17-14. Listen, this kickoff is sponsored by Budweiser, the king of beers. Norm Johnson will be kicking off. Tim Brown is the deep back on the return. Stephon Adams is off to the side. They want Brown to return. And he takes it at the 4-yard line. And returns to the 25. We've got a timeout, and Seattle has a 3-point lead. Back at him. Allen yesterday has that soft cast on his left hand. He said, "I feel like an NBA player who can only use one hand to dribble." And Schrader goes deep. And it is caught. Willie Gault again. The Raiders of old have returned. 57 yards. 18-yard line of Seattle, first down.
And Willie Gault was called the best acquisition this team had during the offseason, but he disappeared for much of this year until this game. Maybe they were saving him for it. Another nice throw on the part of Jay Schrader, though. He said he throws the long ball well. Look at his eyes. He looks the safety off to the right first, then comes right back to Gault. Gault makes a nice adjustment on the football, but a nice tight spiral. He gives Gault all the room in the world to come back and catch it, and Melvin Jenkins, number 24, is beaten on it.
Bo Jackson. Brought down by Darren Como. From the 18 to the 13, that's a gain of 5. It'll be second down and 5. Willie Gault 2 receptions, 108 yards. And a touchdown. That one, a 51 yard. Second down. They're going to mark at the 14-yard line, so it is second down and 6. Jackson, the remaining back. Schrader to throw. To Jackson over the middle, 10-yard line. Gain of 4, so third down is still a couple to go. Darren Como makes the tackle. That is Jackson's, that's only his 7th reception in the 10 ball games that he has played this year. Green Bay continues to lead Phoenix. Kansas City continues to lead San Diego. And here, Seattle 17, Raiders 14.
The reason that Bo Jackson is not involved in much of their offensive passing game is because coming in late in the season, the passing game is much more intricate than the running attack. And so maybe they've been a little leery in throwing the football to him.
Brown on the reverse. Close to the first down. Let's see where they mark it. Como making the tackle on Tim Brown. When we talked to Schrader yesterday, he said for the first time a couple of weeks ago is when he felt like he could understand the Raider terminology, the Raider language, almost like being in a foreign country and not having to translate. You could just react and remember it.
Yeah, the light bulb goes on because numbers are a very important part of play calling as they bring the chains on. And the numbering system from each club is different. And they'll be short.
You know what the officials say when they do a measurement like that to the players?
Yes.
You want to know? They say, stand back, stand back. Roselle likes to see this. True, that's what they say.
They get some airtime, too. And Mike Shanahan's going to go for it.
4th down and a foot. A double tight end set. Smith and Jackson. Junk in the motion man. It is Smith. Jackson the lead blocker. 5-yard line, first down. Tony Woods and Melvin Jenkins bringing down Steve Smith at the 5. It'll be first down and goal to go. Junk in the motion man. He was the lead blocker.
Yeah, he comes across the formation and then back across because the Seahawks, when he goes in motion, they send a player across the formation. When he stops and comes back, he turns into the lead blocker, making the area for the running back to gain the first down. All that motion does is give someone an angle, give them just a small step to be able to get an angle in which to make a block, and Junkin did it very well on that occasion.
Just outside the 5, first down goal to go, and now the Raiders are going to call a timeout.
They had no chase. Steve Wright wasn't sure whether he should be in the football game or not.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Shanahan was saying, stay out there. Timeout, and he called it. His reaction from the sideline. Smith dives, just gets back to the 5. It's going to be second down and goal to go. Are they setting up something with that play, a fake, and then the timing pattern into the corner of the end zone?
Well, that's the usual pattern for just about all NFL teams, but Steve Smith is used quite often down here in the goal line situations. A good receiver, a good blocker, and he carries the ball inside very well.
And again, because of the cast on Marcus Allen's hand, that he is out of this situation. He has been a big key in the short yardage situations in the past. Bo Jackson in trouble. He'll lose yardage back to the 9. He's going to lose about 4. Terry Taylor and Eugene Robinson. Robinson, the lead. Third down goal to go. They'll throw to the end zone here. And now Marcus is in as a receiver. Schrader with lots of time. And he overthrows Lofton.
And he may have just been throwing the football away. He had a zone coverage in the end zone. 2 defenders right in the corner, no one open, and instead of giving someone like Taylor an opportunity to catch the football, or Jenkins rather, he just threw it away.
Vernon Dean and Melvin Jenkins had good coverage. The reaction of Mike Shanahan on the sideline, and now here is Chris Barr for the top. An attempt of 26 yards. Gossett, the punter, is the holder. And we are tied again. We have been tied at 7, at 14, and now 17-17. We'll be back with a kickoff. This is Charlie Jones, Jimmy Cefalo, Los Angeles Memorial Coliseum, Seattle and the Raiders for the championship of the West. Tied 17-17. Just over 7.5 minutes to go in the first half as Barr kicks off. Bobby Joe Edmonds from the 7 to the 15. And is brought down around the 25 or the 26-yard line by Vance Mueller. We're tied, and we'll be back in just a moment. My co-host on Sports World Christmas show on Christmas Day. Awards, yes, we don't want to forget those. And I understand that he may skate the Rockefeller Center. The eyes of, oh, look at that.
The intensity of that.
John L. Williams. Now here is a man that weighs almost 230 pounds, 5'11". Now that is, he just picked up 14, first down to the 39. The eyes of Matt Millen, captured by our camera crew, our director, John Gonzalez, David Neal, our producer. Oh, he sees everything, doesn't he? Craig throws. Williams has the reception, holds on to it with one hand, goes out of bounds. Ron Fellows was there for the defense.
Well, we talked about John L. Williams as a receiver. Let's look at him out of the backfield. Just a quick pattern into the flat. But you see the dexterity that he has, the ability to turn around in midair. Again, for a very large man, he's holding out in front of him, but he doesn't fumble the football off it, Charlie. John L. Williams has good hands.
Very secure hands.
Very secure hands.
And it's back-to-back first downs now at the 50-yard line. Kurt Warner. And Kurt is chased out of bounds by Russell Carter. Jones for the first touchdown. Officially, it's a 1-yard fumble recovery for Tim Brown, the first score of the ball game. Robinson had stripped Dave Craig of the ball, and Paquel had recovered the fumble at the 5. That was the first score. We'll be updating the scores here to kind of bring you up to date in case you missed this earlier. Daniel Williams. A couple of yards to the 47. It'll be third down and 7. Craig to Largent. Seattle tied it up on a 35-yard touchdown pass. Craig to Blade, 17 yards out. 23 yards on the drive. Taylor set that up with an interception of Schrader. Schrader trying to throw the ball away and didn't just get it out of bounds. And it was 14-7. And then Schrader to Galt, 51 yards to tie it at 14-14. Norm Johnson of Seattle, a 39-yard field goal to put the Seahawks up by 3. Chris Barr has tied it with a 26-yard field goal, 17-17. Four-man rush. Pass is complete over the middle to Largent. No, that's Scansey. Number 82, Paul Scansey. And he has the first down at the 35-yard line. That is a giveaway for a wide receiver. That means he's possession, first down. That's what you want. Kurt Warner, shut off inside, jumps out, changes the ball from right hand to left hand with the pressure that's almost automatic, puts the body between the defender and the ball, and Ron Fellows still makes the play.
And that is something that we're watching Marcus Allen not be able to do. That's the problem Marcus Allen has with the cat.
For the Raiders. And Seahawks go with 4 wide receivers. 2nd and 9. Butler in motion. Good defensive play. Largent. They know they're going to call Mike Hayes for getting there too soon. And it'd be a pass interference call against the Raiders.
Pass interference, defense, number 22. First down.
Hey, you've got to make this call. The flag comes in awfully late, though, Charlie. Remember, pass interference was going to be a play that was not called as much this season, and it hasn't been. However, here, going over the back is the one thing that will get you a flag, and he did it. He comes over the top and does not give Largent an opportunity to catch the football.
It is a good call, and a first down at the 30-yard line. Warner. He'll lose a yard. And another flag goes down. Warner was
Illegal block in the back, above the waist, number 86, 10 yards, still first down.
That's on Mike Tice. The ball goes outside now to the 40-yard line, and it is first down and 20.
Just a look at how deep he was in the backfield. Take a look at him, about 7 yards deep. You're absolutely right, Trey. That gives time for the guard to get in front of him. Number 70, Ron Mattis, actually the tackle blocking, and number 86, Mike Tice. Yes, he did push in the back, but that's the reason for the flag.
Play action fake by Craig. It's a screen to Warner, to the 35, the 30, and then out of bounds at the 28-yard line. So they get 12 of it back. It'll be second down and 8, and it was Ron Fellows making the defensive play for La Club. 28-yard line of the Raiders, second down and 8. 4 minutes and 18 seconds left of the first half. The ball game tied 17-17. Here's John L. Williams. 6 yards to the 22. It's going to be third down and still a couple to go, maybe 3 to go. The nose tackle.
And a lot of pressure has gone on his shoulders because Howie Long has not been in there. Brian Millard, number 71, handles Piquel pretty well. The job of a nose tackle is simply not to get beaten up too badly. Now that's a sad job description, but if you're a nose if you're a nose tackle and you just neutralize the line of scrimmage, you know, fall down, let the pile run into you, you've done your job. The only way you don't do your job is if you get pushed out away from the line of scrimmage a yard or two. But if you just neutralize the offensive guard or center, you've done your job.
Craig dumps it off to John L. Williams. And Williams to the 6-yard line. A little improvisation worth 16 yards and a first down. Mike Haynes and Ron Fellows with the tackle.
This is a heads-up play by both Craig and by John L. Williams. He's simply in the backfield. John L. on the left side trying to be a blocker, but with nowhere to go, Craig, a heads-up play, shifts it off to his fullback. It gets down to the 5-yard line. And that's the kind of play that illustrates that.
The ultimate compliment. Warner, defense again, strings him out, and he goes out of bounds. Tough to get outside on the Raiders.
Well, we're starting to see the kind of game we assumed it would be. The Raiders trying to stop the run, the Seahawks trying to battle out 2 and 3 yards.
Stacey Turan.
Very smart out there, but I don't want to go out there and get double-teamed and triple-teamed by somebody and beat me up. Yeah, just don't get beaten up too badly and you've done your job as a nose tackle.
I love that. Craig, quarterback draw all the way. Call play, 5-yard line. Gain of 3, third down goal to go. Time remaining in the first half. Ball game tied 17-17. Piquel and Malcolm Taylor make the tackle at the 5-yard line. Minute warning. And it's official. 2 minutes left to go in the first half. And officially, it's still tied at 17. Look at this, fights off 2 blockers.
Yeah, he takes care of Blair Bush, 59, Millard, number 71, fights through and makes the play. He not only did his job, but he did more than that. No one could be expected to fight off a double team and make the play at the line of scrimmage.
Third down goal to go. 4 wide receivers and 5 men in the secondary. Good defensive play by Ron Fellows. Blades the intended receiver. And Fellows is getting a workout.
Yeah, that's the 3rd time in this first half that it's been Blades against Fellows in the end zone. And each time Fellows has made the play, but I think here Craig again underthrows Brian Blades. Take a look at it. If he gets it out in front, that's touchdown. Yes. But Fellows gets lucky actually and able to knock the ball down because it was underthrown.
And so Norm Johnson from the 14, an attempt at 24 yards, and Largent is the holder. And Largent has that bruise on his thumb on the left hand that he's got to catch it with, and he does it. And it is good.
It made a good hold, too, because it was a high snap. A nice job on the part of Steve Largent.
For Norm Johnson, 2 of 2, 39 and 24 yards, and Seattle moves back in front of the Raiders by 3, 20-17, with 1:52 left in the first half.
Buffalo, after a string of victories in the beginning and middle of the season, blew the home field advantage, and that changes the entire Super Bowl.
And we'll do it again. Tim Brown is the return man. Fun Adams is back there with him, but they want Brown to return. At the goal line. Former Heisman Trophy winner. Slips 2 tackles, turns it at the 20. Good return. 30 yards on the return. Tim Brown will be going to the Pro Bowl. Tommy Agee made the tackle. Rufus Porter will be going for Seattle.
And Tim Brown continues to close in on that record for total yardage by a rookie set by Gale Sayers in 1965. According to my calculations, he needs about 40 yards remaining. But watch what he does. He makes people miss. Kickoff returners have got to be able to do that. You get through the first line of defense, then it's all up to you, babe. And that's exactly what Tim Brown does. He's got slashing ability.
Rushing yardage, receiving yardage, punt return yardage, and kickoff return yardage. Gale Sayers' record, 2,272 yards. Set it with the Bears his rookie year in 1965.
And that about to be erased by Tim Brown, barring injury, just 40 yards away.
31-yard line, first down. Schrader from the shotgun. Sends both backs out. Drops it over the middle. Kind of a juggling reception by Marcus Allen.
And if Marcus Allen doesn't fall down there, he's got a long way to run because Seattle is in a very deep prevent defense. I'm always against that in these kind of situations. They're not far from field goal range, and the depth of Seattle will allow the Raiders to get into position.
Schrader, 2nd and 1, little pump fake to kind of freeze everybody, and then he goes out of bounds. Now, much smarter play here than the play in the first half. Or did you see something downfield?
Well, I think he should have just thrown it out of bounds. He had no one to go through with the football. Now, the previous time when he was running down the sideline, he didn't throw it far enough out of bounds. Terry Taylor makes the catch. Don't let time click off the clock.
Throw it in lane 8 in the track that goes around the Coliseum.
Throw it to the guy with the blue Santa suit in the front row. You know, this is Los Angeles. Give him a shot.
Is he here again? He was here last year.
There's a guy with a parrot riding around. He's got a red Santa suit, but he's got a parrot on his shirt.
Is he really? There's Santa. Now, that's a red Santa suit.
All right, there's a blue one around here. We'll find it before the day's over.
Third down and 8. Incomplete. Marcus Allen, the intended receiver. Terry Taylor, the coverage. Marcus had slipped.
And Tim Brown had Gale Sayers' record if Jay Schrader saw him. You're right, Charlie. He does slip down. It's a little soft in the middle of the field because it has been raining here in Los Angeles the last few days.
Field has been covered with the soft parts, and it does get chewed up. Moisture gets through it. Gossett, his first kick. Pretty good kick. Edmonds. And he is dropped immediately by Eddie Anderson. And I'm really not so sure that we should not have seen a flag. 47 yards on the punt. I think you've got to give him room to catch it.
You have to. That's the rule. You've got to give a return man room to catch the football.
And I don't think that's room to catch.
If Eddie Anderson had put his head directly in the middle of the return man, then that had a big play for the Raiders.
From the 20-yard line. Pass is complete, coming outside. Paul Scansey, and he steps out. Mike Haynes had the coverage. 56 seconds time remaining. First half, Seahawks up by 3, 20-17. At the 24-yard line, 2nd down and 6. 4 wide receivers for Seattle. And Scansey is in motion. Nobody goes with him, so they're in the zone. Craig throws it underneath to John L. Williams. And he will roll to about the 35-yard line. Gain of 11, first down. Now, Seattle has all 3 timeouts remaining. The Raiders
that set up a touchdown for the Seahawks.
First down, Seattle at their own 35-yard line. 49 seconds left, first down. 3-man rush. Right side. Complete and out of bounds is Ray Butler. 40-yard line, stops the clock.
Now, if the Seahawks can get a crossing pattern, to get the ball to a receiver in a crossing pattern, the LA Raider defense, take a look at it. Watch how deep they're dropping. 3 safeties all the way back to the 40-yard line, and underneath it is Butler who makes the catch. But Craig saw him a bit too late. But if you catch the football in the middle of that deep secondary, you're able to get 10 or 12 yards simply because of the distance they're giving you to run with. As a receiver, you always like to see a prevent defense when there's a minute left in the half of the contest. Lots of room to run.
Grant Fiesel is the offensive center as Blair Bush has a slight concussion. Can't come back in the second half. Craig is hit just as he makes his release. And it was Rod Martin who put the pressure on him. The pass is incomplete. And it'll be 3rd down and 5 seconds. Catching the pass is Ray Butler. And they said that he stayed in bounds. Now, what happens on that? No, it's an official's call. It's a rule book call. Jimmy has this expression on his face. When you catch the pass,
right,
and then you're knocked out of bounds going back towards the passer, back towards the line of scrimmage, they give you the point of the reception in the field of play, but no timeout.
They keep the clock going.
Yes, they keep the clock going.
Exactly.
But so they had to take a time. If you catch it and you're going forward as you go out of bounds, then you can stop the clock.
Then you get the timeout. And both officials made the correct call. They were right on the play. Take a look at it. He is going back toward the quarterback.
There. Yeah, he's hit and he goes back out of bounds. And so they give it to the point. See, you get like a yard difference.
Yeah,
both like a yard difference. So they give him the reception, but the clock moves. That's you get one, but you don't get both.
And now the Seahawks have got one timeout remaining. 25 seconds left in the first half. About the 43-yard.
First down at the Raiders 43. Craig on this drive, 4 of 5 for 37 yards. Los Angeles was 7 in the secondary. They're going to drop back 8 now. Over the middle. John L. Williams in field goal range.
Timeout number 3, Seattle.
And now Seattle takes their timeout here with a first down.
Well, now they
can throw to the end zone.
They've
right?
got to throw to the end zone or to the sidelines, because if a receiver gets stuck in the middle of the field, what Chuck Knox should be doing, and he is doing now, is taking the field goal team and putting them right next to the sideline to say, look, if we get stuck with the ball in the middle of the field, we got to get the field goal.
We'll have a if they don't score, we'll have a chance to see if they can do it here. John L. Williams, 6 receptions, 105 yards. Craig back of the end zone, and he was throwing it away. Everybody was covered deep, and he was running out of time. 6 seconds off of the clock, 13 remaining. Scansey, the closest intended receiver. 2nd and 10 back of the 23-yard line. So forget that. Sorry. Sorry, Charlie. High snap. Incomplete.
And again, Craig making the right decisions. If someone is open right away, you've got to just throw it away. And you're right, Charlie. They're going to go for it on 3rd down.
3 yards. His long this year is 47, and Largent is the holder. The snap was off. Largent recovered it, and it's right down the middle. Credit that one to Steve Largent. And Johnson hits from 40 yards out, 41 yards, they're going to say officially. And Seattle now leads 23-17 with 3 seconds left.
Now, this is the second time today that Largent has taken. Yeah, you're not going to give him a chance to return it on you.
The clock does not start inside of 2 minutes in either half on a kickoff until the ball has been touched in the field of play. And it'll be down at the 40-yard line. And time will expire in the first half. A high-scoring first half in the Coliseum in Los Angeles. The Seattle Seahawks leading the Los Angeles Raiders 23-17. The winner will be Seattle leading at halftime by 6. And this kickoff is sponsored by Budweiser, the king of beers. And Seattle in the first half scored on 5 of 6 drives. And let's see if they can start it off in the second half. Kevin Harmon on the return. And he returns to the 25-yard line. And quarterback Dave Craig in the first half. 13
by 2 quarterbacks. Dave Craig may be the hottest quarterback in the league right now. Last week's performance against Denver was equally as impressive.
John L. Williams has 3, maybe 4. Grant Fiesel is the center. Blair Bush is still out, bothered by that concussion. Jerry Robinson with the tackle. Statistics first half.
The other impressive item here, as far as the Raiders are concerned, when these two teams played a couple of weeks ago, Seattle rushed for 247 yards. You see the total yards rushing this time by the Seahawks, just 48. And that was the object of Matt Millen and that Raider defense. They had to stop the running attack of Seattle.
And everyone felt coming in that the running attack of Seattle would decide the ball game. The running attack has been slowed. The passing attack has certainly picked up all of the slack. Here's the draw, John L. Williams. Maybe a yard. Let's still call it the 28, and it'll be 3rd down and 7.
Their first 6 possessions, and that has so much to do with Dave Craig. He's making the right decisions, very accurate with the football. He's the reason for the Seattle success here in the first half.
And very few flags of the ball game. Incomplete. This is to Scansey. Catchable ball, on target. He put it between 2 defenders. Good pass.
It's a good throw, but if I'm Scansey, the receiver, they better not give me a drop come the meetings on Tuesday afternoon, because this is going in between a couple of people. It gets past the one defender and into his arms, but it was actually tipped by the other defender, number 29, Russell Carter. Take a look at it. Craig is right on the money. He threads it through the defensive back, but Scansey cannot be expected to hang on to that football.
No, but the reason that I mentioned is the fact that that Craig had thrown behind a couple of receivers. Russell Carter is shaken up on the play, and this time with 2 defenders, when he had to get it in there, it was in there. Wasn't anything against Scansey. It just that he's firing as well in the second half as he was in the first. In fact, maybe a little bit better. And Ruben Rodriguez will be kicking for the first time in the ball game. And Tim Brown is the return man. Leading the AFC. 440 punt return yards. And that's the delay on the field, of course, so that Russell Carter could be assisted to the sideline.
Starting for the team. Carter was kicked in the head, the report that we get from the Raider bunch, and he should be back as this 3rd quarter progresses.
Don't you like that? He got kicked in the head. They don't ask him if he wants to come back. They just say he should come back.
$10,000 on the line. He'll be back.
Takes the Seattle roll. Not a very good kick. It turns out pretty good, though. And goes out at the 26-yard line.
Raiders had to continually fight for a spot. Gets traded back out here to Los Angeles and is benched after starting for a while, but that has not shaken his confidence.
And Los Angeles opens the second half with Bo Jackson. Green Bay continues to lead Phoenix. They're at halftime. The margin is 3. San Diego in front of Kansas City. Green Bay and Dallas are battling for the worst record in the National Football League. That means the #1 draft choice. Dallas lost earlier today. If Green Bay wins, that means that Dallas has the #1 draft choice. If Green Bay loses to Phoenix, then because of the intricate playoff tie-breaking system, then Green Bay would have the first choice. Second down, and we have flags.
Not quite as impressive.
Punt, touchdown, interception, touchdown, field goal, punt. Okay.
But it's difficult to be intimidated during these situations because so much is on the line.
2nd and 14. Lofton in motion. And pass is complete to Brown. He's been everywhere. Gain of 10. It's going to be 3rd down. Still about 4 to go. How are we doing on his total for Gale Sayers' record?
He's closing in on it. Again, he needed, 132 yards today to pass Gale Sayers in his record set in 1965. Coming across the formation, Brown usually makes one-man miss. However, that time Vernon Dean, number 31, had none of the hip fake, and Brown goes down right after he catches the football.
3rd down and 4. Tim Brown needs 27 yards to set the record. Tony Woods is there for Seattle. He makes the play as Schrader goes down. And Jeff Gossett comes in to catch. We're kind of settling into the second half. Bobby Joe Edmonds is the return man. He and Tim Brown have put on quite a show. At the 30. Good coverage. He'll be down to the 34, maybe the 35-yard line. And it was Eddie Anderson again who was there for the Raiders. We've got a timeout, and Seattle has the lead. This is Charlie Jones, Jimmy Cefalo, in your years with Miami. How many playoff games were you in?
Probably about 10.
And how many were you behind at halftime?
Oh, probably about half of those games.
What's that feeling like?
Well, when you're behind at halftime during a playoff game, and essentially this is a playoff game, the hurts don't hurt as much. The little infighting between teammates that sometimes crop up, they don't come into play anymore. There's more of a unity feeling when you know you're pulling together for your ultimate goal, which is to continue on in the playoffs.
Craig's pass complete to Largent to the 49-yard line. Gain of 15 yards and a first down. Haynes makes the tackle.
This was some kind of a man-to-man coverage, at least it appeared to be from here. And Matt Millen, I think, was assigned to cover John L. Williams. Now, Matt Millen is never going to be somebody who covers backs very well. And he's just running a beeline for him. But if they make a catch on that play, then Williams, it's like playing it. You know, I got you. I got my right guy. He's playing tag.
Largent, 2 for 50 and a touchdown. First down at the 49-yard line. Mike Tice and Kurt Warner. Lose a yard to the 48. It's going to be second down and 11. The feeling when you're leading at halftime.
Well, I think you're more cautious with a lead in a playoff game, especially when the difference is only 6 points as it is here. Because you realize that if you're on the other side of the ball, how much this game means to you. And you play another notch above when you get into a playoff game. And I think that's why you feel a little bit more cautious when you're leading a game by a slim margin in a playoff.
They mark it to the 49, so it is second and 10. Largent coming in motion. Craig's pass is incomplete. Kurt Warner, the intended receiver, and he was throwing it under the arm of the on-rushing. Was that Malcolm Taylor who was rushing him? Yes. So it'll be third down and 10. I've got position on him, but I'm losing ground. Third down and 10. 4 wide receivers for the Seahawks. Scansey, the motion man. Inside handoff to Scansey to Largent. Flea flicker back. Good coverage downfield, though. Pass is complete to Brian Blades. They wanted to go deep over the middle. And the man they wanted to go to was Ray Butler. But the Raiders dropped back 2 men picking him up.
It's an odd play on third down, Charlie, because you're usually not as aggressive on the third down and long situation. And that's what we had here. Is anybody going to believe that you're going to run a double reverse on third down and 8 or 9? It's not the play to call there. That's why the good coverage in the secondary by the LA Raiders.
21 yards, though, to the 30-yard line and a first down. That is an interesting call. Touchdown! Brian Blades is second of the game. They picked on Fellows, and they burned him for 30 yards of the score.
That's part of Chuck Knox's game plan coming in. They must have wanted and liked the matchup of Blades versus Fellows, because that's the 4th time they've gone to the end zone. Craig to Blades, but the first time they...
To stretch the margin to 13. And he's got it. Seattle 30, the Raiders 17, the reaction of Dave Craig. Yes. Proving he is the best. 8 touchdown passes in the last game and a half plus.
That's right.
And against the Raiders.
It just goes to show you when you're rating quarterbacks, it's not strength of arm, it's accuracy of arm.
He had 5 in the first. He has 3 here. And the kickoff had great hang time, but not a lot of distance. He wanted to keep it away, obviously, from Tim Brown. And it was Stacy Turan, one of the upbacks, who got it, and Nesby Glasgow who got him. I'm sure he wanted to kick to one of the upbacks, but maybe the next line back that it likes to go further. Now, the Raiders have got to get back in it right now.
Yeah,
Would you agree?
Yeah, they can't wait much longer.
When you pause like that, it scares me.
Well, they can't, I don't think they can get away from the game plan right now. They can still run the football if they need to because it's very early in the game, down by 13 points.
Just over 9 minutes left to go, third quarter. Here's Bo Jackson. The spark the Raiders may need.
And the thing of it is, with Bo Jackson or Marcus Allen in the backfield, you're only 9 or 10 seconds away from a touchdown. Take a look at him. He gets the ball, as we said earlier, deep in the backfield, and he makes the cutback. If he gets this ball closer to the line of scrimmage, it's more difficult to see the hole, which happened to the backside of the offensive line.
He picks up 15, his big gainer of the day, 10 for 42 thus far. Incomplete. James Lofton, the intended receiver. Terry Taylor had the coverage. Second down and 10 at the 44-yard line. I think I would come back with a little more Bo Jackson.
Well, I think so, too. You might as well try and establish Bo Jackson. Their offensive line has not been given much of an opportunity to establish the running game. And anytime you've got a Bo Jackson in the game, remember, he had great success against this Seahawk team a year ago.
And now you have Todd Christensen in the game at tight end. Deep on the left side. Lofton in motion. Prater going deep, has a man if he can get there. No. And it's Bo Jackson, the intended receiver. Eugene Robinson was trying to come over to him and close it down on the angle, but Bo was open.
He was. You remember what we said earlier, Charlie. It's not strength of arm when rating a quarterback, it's accuracy. Look how wide open Bo Jackson is.
Is he ever?
A blown coverage. Number 24, Melvin Jenkins, had to keep on Jackson down the field because number 41, Eugene Robinson, was late getting over to him. But he's overthrown by a good 2 or 3 yards. Eugene Robinson nearly making the play.
Boy, did he go flying by everybody. Raiders now with 4 wide receivers. Third down and 10. Going underneath the coverage and almost intercepted. Lofton, the intended receiver, he was throwing for the first down. Does not pick it up. It'll be 4th down and 10. And that means that Gossett will come in to cut. Raiders had an opportunity. Let it slip away. Gossett kicking to Bobby Joe Edmonds. Not a very good kick. Edmonds makes a mistake. If it touches him, it's a free ball. He should have stayed away from it. Raiders say they have it. If the ball is touched by a member of the receiving team past the line of scrimmage, it can be recovered by the kicking team. Technically, it's called a muff. Chuck Knox says that's what happens. Come on, let's get it going again.
The rule for a punt returner, if it's in front of you and you can't get to it, get as far away from the football as possible. He broke the basic rule. Edmonds getting too close to the football. Had a basic muff, Charlie, as you said, actually, as we know, to fumble. You've got to get away from the football if it's bouncing in front of a punt return man. Just skims off the top of his shoulder pad, it seemed. Might have touched his knee. And then the scramble for the football. One Seahawk had a chance at it, but the Raiders come up with the football deep inside Seattle territory.
Edmonds makes the mistake. Junkin recovers it. First down at the 16-yard line. Brown in motion. Prater fires. Incomplete. Off to the intended receiver. It'll be 2nd down and 10 at the 16. Do we still have that replay of the muff? If we do, let's show it after the next play. I'm not 100% absolutely positive that it hit him.
Well, if you're not absolutely positive that it hit him, then the replay official cannot overturn it. And so the play stands as called on the field.
All right, you're right. Prater, lots of time. Even more. Even more. Points out a block. Doesn't run with great authority, but he does move to the 11. And it'll be 3rd down and 5 after 5. Let's go back just to look at it because, of course, it doesn't make any difference. Did it touch him? Bounce there.
My, well, it's really impossible to tell from that angle, isn't it? And so the play stands as called on the field.
Now, just as you said, the word receive, it was reviewed, but it is inconclusive. So when it's inconclusive, you go with the call on the field. And if the ball just, again, it's hard to tell from camera angles, but if the ball just changes direction in flight, then that pretty well gives away that it did touch it. Schrader, 10 of 18, 160 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception, 3rd down and 5. Time, just under 8 minutes left to go, 3rd quarter. Score, Seattle 30, Raiders 17. Good pump fake. And incomplete to Lofton. Good coverage by Melvin Jenkins. Was somebody else open?
Well, there was. Tim Brown was the man he pump faked to. And after the pump fake, everybody let Tim Brown alone. And if he comes back to Tim Brown, he's got a touchdown. Top of your screen is Lofton. There's Brown inside. The pump fake.
Oops.
Jenkins gets an arm around him for just a second, but recovers well to knock the football away. But Brown continued to cross the end zone and did come open late.
Could you call pass interference on that?
Yeah,
Was the ball in the air?
Well, but he's hooking it. I mean, he called defensive holding is what the call could have been.
28-yard field goal attempt. And it is good by Chris Barr, who is now hit from 26 and 28. And the margin is 10. Seahawks lead. General partner. Raiders trail by 10. Edmonds from the 15 to the 20 and returns to the 25-yard line. Now let's check all of the earlier scores. Cleveland coming to, and we will give you some more in-depth information after this play. A throwback screen is complete to John L. Williams. Williams to the 40, Williams to the 50. Williams can bust it to the 20, the 10. He's got it, 75 yards. What a year he is having.
And what a day he's having. He's closing in on the 200-yard receiving mark this afternoon for a fullback. That's absolutely unheard of. We just talked about how Bo Jackson or Marcus Allen can change the complexity of a game. Well, how about John L. Williams out of the backfield with the screen pass? And he beats everybody. We said it earlier. He seems to run just fast enough to beat a defense, and he outran an entire secondary.
What about Dave Craig? 17 of 28, 348 yards, 4 touchdowns. 7.5 minutes to go in the 3rd. Norm Johnson for the point after. Seattle 37, the Raiders 20.
Screen pass is well set up. They get everybody moving to the right with this rollout action and throw it all the way back across the field. Well set up. Number 75, Mike Wilson, out in front. A good block by Blades going downfield. And Williams outrunning the rest of the secondary. Now has 7 catches, 180 yards on the afternoon. What a day for a fullback.
Ooh, yes. Does it bother you that goes in as a 75-yard touchdown pass when Williams did more work than Craig did? I always wonder about that.
As a receiver, yeah.
Yes,
yeah,
it does.
yeah. Although it was well set up by Craig with the roll to the right.
But in a game for the championship, you'll all take credit for it.
That's right. It doesn't matter when you get into a championship game. As I said earlier, when you're winning at halftime or losing at halftime, the hurts don't hurt as much. And the little interfighting that you might have between teammates just doesn't seem to be very important. Those numbers, are you kidding? He'll take them anytime.
Seattle 37 and the Raiders 20. And as we promised, the headliners more in depth about what the scores of the early games determine as far as the playoff situation is concerned. We'll have that in a moment. We haven't forgotten. John L. interrupted our train of thought. And interrupted the Raiders' train of thought also. Tim Brown is the deep back. The return, and he will take it at the 11-yard line. To the 20, to the 30, he could do it. Cuts back at the 40, and then Norm Johnson, with a little bit of help, makes the tackle at the 41-yard line. Dwayne Harper was also there. Now, the information based on the finals that we saw, the Browns defeat Houston, and that means that they will meet again in the wild card, the AFC wild card, next week. Eagles defeat Dallas, and they are the NFC East champions because of the Giants losing. Dickerson, 166 rushing yards against Buffalo, but the Browns' victory ended the Colts season. The Saints win gives the 49ers the division title for the 6th time in 8 years. Schrader, incomplete. Lofton couldn't hold on. He was hit by Terry Taylor. It'll be 2nd down and 10 back at the 41.
A well-thrown ball by Jay Schrader, but this is the nightmare for the receiver. Up in the air, knowing a defensive back is closing and nowhere to go. Largent with fairly good concentration, but nearly impossible to hang on to the football when you get your legs taken out and you hit the back part of your shoulders on the ground. The ball has got to come loose.
2nd and 10. Swing pass, Bo Jackson. He makes a couple of moves and goes right by Bruce Schultz. Darren Como makes the tackle. Let's not let this go by us. This man, on the kickoff return, Tim Brown of 30 yards, has set a new NFL rookie record for total yardage. That is rushing yardage, receiving yardage, kickoff return yardage, and punt return yardage. The old record was 2,272 yards set by Gale Sayers in 1965. The new record now stands at 2,275 yards. He's broken it by 3, and perhaps more to come. Add some more here. Tim Brown. It'll be a 1st down, and Tim Brown is going to the Pro Bowl.
It not only speaks volumes about the ability of Tim Brown, but the maturity of Tim Brown. Because the reason that rookie record has stood for 23 years is because people have had ability, but having the presence of mind to both return kicks, punts, be a receiver, and running the football takes a great deal of maturity by a young man.
And Marcus Allen shaken up on the play, and he is being helped to the sideline. He threw a block, and he's a little woozy. What a nice young man. I always remember the Fiesta Bowl this year is the battle for #1. I remember the year that he won the Heisman Trophy, played for USC in the Fiesta Bowl, and they were defeated, and he did not. He had a terrible game. He got Penn State, as I recall. He fumbled, and Penn State scored him. After the game, he stayed out afterwards, signed autographs, did interviews, talked with everybody. A class act, Marcus Allen. Bo Jackson. Melvin Jenkins makes the tackle at the 39-yard line. And let's check our ticker and see. Second down, a little over 2 to go for the 1st down. There's the 1st down. Well, let's see. I don't know. I may have anticipated it too soon. May not have made it. That was Steve Smith. With Vance Mueller now, Karen. Como and Schultz with the tackle. Well, I think they want to take a measure.
The Raiders with a steady drive down the field, but they are running out of time, down by 17 points. They've got to score and score quickly. But that may take away some of the running attack. I think it has. I don't think you can afford to hand the ball off in the backfield when you're down by 17 with 4:43 remaining in the 3rd quarter.
The winner here, the champion, becomes the champion of the West and will play in 2 weeks at Cincinnati. The wild card is next Saturday, and that will be Houston and Cleveland. The winner there will play at Buffalo in 2 weeks. And should Seattle go on to win, this will be the first division championship in their history, and the 4th time that they have been to the playoffs, all under Chuck Noll.
And oddly, they will do it at 8-8. Excuse me, 9-7. If they win today, it would be 9-7. At one time, they were 12-4 and wound up as a wild card team. Another time, they were 10-6 and wound up not in the playoffs.
We talked with Chuck last night. He's ready. He had his game face on last night. We were with him for about, 10, 12 minutes. Tom Harmon had talked to him just before that, and he was ready to get rid of us, go have dinner, and get the game going. 1st down. Good inside-outside move by Steve Smith. Vernon Dean and Melvin Jenkins with the tackle.
And I think it was Trey Junkin and maybe Bo Jackson who was in front making a play. It is Bo Jackson and Trey Junkin in front, providing a big hole for Steve Smith to get through. And we had said earlier that Bo Jackson is blocking better, and he certainly showed it on that play.
He is a force, isn't he?
He's certainly got the girth to get through a hole and block someone.
The girth?
It's a good word.
Yes, I like that. Incomplete. Oh. That is, I guess everybody that's played football at any level has made that mistake. You start running before you catch the ball.
Yeah, it happens very frequently, especially when you're in the flat like this. He's turned sideways. He knows a linebacker is bearing down, and not only for bodily protection, but he wants to be able to make a move and get down the field. You see, he had Schultz, number 58, out of the corner of his eye, and that's what caused Bo Jackson to drop that football.
Schrader, 12 of 23, 180 yards, touchdown and interception. Schrader over the middle. The pass is complete to Brown, and he is close to the 20-yard line. It'll be shy of the first down. It'll be third down and 1.5 to go for the first down. Terry Taylor and Vernon Dean make the tackle. There was a flag on the play, and they called Fernandez. What he did, when he was coming in motion, and he was angling towards the line of scrimmage. You have to be parallel, or you have to be going away from it, and he was.
A side judge, what he does when you start in motion, he comes and gets exactly even with you. And if the ball is snapped and you're in front of him, then he throws the flag, and it was a good call. Fernandez was indeed moving upfield when the ball was snapped.
Second and 15. 6 in the secondary. 4 wide receivers for the Raiders. Fernandez to the 11. 23 yards, and that certainly atones for the previous mistakes.
Certainly does. Fernandez, 26.5 yards per catch this season. That leads the NFL. The Raiders cross the receivers on both sides of the field. Brown is coming down from the left side, Fernandez from the right. You see the big zone in the middle. One receiver clears out the middle of the field, allowing Fernandez to come in behind the coverage. And it's Moyer, number 21, who finally makes the tackle.
At the 11-yard line, first down. Bo Jackson has 3 yards to the 8. It's going to be second down and 7. 2:20 and counting. 2 minutes 20 seconds. We're in the third quarter. Seattle up by 17. Tony Woods with the last tackle. Marcus Allen back in the ball game, and Steve Smith joins him in the backfield. I suspect Marcus is there as a receiver. No, he's there as a blocker. And the pass is incomplete. Todd Christensen, the intended receiver. Is that right? First pass that's been thrown in his direction?
I believe so today. Christensen coming off that injury. It's actually a capsule below the knee at the top of the calf that's been bothering him. He's missed most of this season.
He grew up in Eugene, Oregon. Big track and field fan. We were discussing the Olympics yesterday. He followed it all.
Yeah, he's a big track and field fan. He did not seem to be running very well watching him in practice yesterday, and I was actually quite surprised that he was activated for this afternoon's game. Although, as we said earlier, this is a playoff game of sorts, and Christensen wanted to be a part of it.
Third down and 7, 10th play of the drive. Jackson is split right. This is a quarterback draw by Schrader. He waved a left hand stiff arm and got to the 4.
This sets up like a screen of sorts. Watch, they allow all the oncoming rushers in, and no one is around Steve Smith.
A 59-yard drive, 37.
Due to technical difficulties, the picture portion of the program is not up to change standards. It's not your set. Please bear with us. We're working on it.
Here he come back. Greg Townsend just hit the arm of Dave Craig. He was looking to Steve Largent, who was in motion, trying to go to him, and the pass falls incomplete. It will be 3rd down and 8 to 17, and here's a look at it.
Take a look at it. Number 93, Greg Townsend, who's been having pressure all day on Craig, is the only Raider who's been applying any pressure. Gets to the backside of Craig and forces him to put the ball into the ground. But Townsend having quite a year, 10.5 sacks on the season.
And it is 3rd down and 8. While we were away, they were checking Marcus Allen on the side, and the doctor was looking into his eyes. He has a slight concussion. He may not return to the ball game. Taking the blitz and then stepping out of it. Craig, it is incomplete. It was tipped at the line of scrimmage. It would be 4th down and 8. The ball at the 17-yard line. Eddie Anderson was there for the defense. Blades the intended receiver. And Norm Johnson will come out to try and make his 4th field goal in the ball game. He is hit from 39, 24, and 41 yards. From the 25, an attempt of 35 yards. Largent to hold. Good snap, good hold, and it's there. 3 more. Seattle 40 and Los Angeles 27. While we were away on this, we had a satellite problem, and we went to the radio call, and we had that long flea flicker, and here's what it looked like.
Now this is the second one, the second flea flicker they ran the day. They wind up with the handoff to Warner and the flip back to Craig. Now watch how wide open Blades is down the sideline. He fooled the entire secondary. Fellows number 21 headed up thinking that Warner was going to carry the ball, but it is underthrown, allowing Fellows to get back into it, make the tackle at about the 18-yard line.
That, of course, led to the 3 points of the 35-yard field goal at Seattle 40, the Raiders 27. 14 minutes, 46 seconds left to go. Total points scored, 67 points. And a big day for Brian Blades with 4 receptions, 123 yards, 2 touchdowns.
And this is an
could have been 3 with that, the flea flicker that he had to come back from.
Yeah, it sure can have been. And he was underthrown. He was also open in the end zone several times against Ron Fellows, but was underthrown by Craig. An unusual game. We were expecting to see a much low-scoring affair because Seattle had such success running against the Raiders earlier in the year. We thought they'd go back to it today, but it's the passing game that has carried them.
Norm Johnson kicking off, and taking it right at the sideline is Tim Brown. And a decision that he had to make, to field it or to hope that it would bounce out of bounds. Darren Miller makes the tackle. Oh, there's the quarterback comparison. 403 yards to 207. We're going to check and see how many 400-yard games in his career that Dave Craig has had.
Craig, as I mentioned, maybe the hottest quarterback in football today. 19 of 22 a week ago against Denver. And today, you just saw the numbers, too. Very accurate passing, Dave, by the Seattle quarterback.
I think you can take the maybe away from there. Here's Bo Jackson on the draw. Slips another tackle. Another good move. Oh, he is tough to bring down. Has the first down as he goes to the 35-yard line, and a gain of 12 yards on the play. 13 carries, 65 yards for Bo Jackson. Well liked by all of his teammates. Doesn't spend a lot of time talking to the media.
And a tremendous family man. He spends all the time he can at home with his family. The two-sport athlete who doesn't spend a lot of time with the media. We've got to say that much. But he's spending all the time with his teammates and his family.
It's a little bit different than baseball. The shortstop's not going to nail you when you come after past second base. Tipped, and it is incomplete. It'll be 2nd down and 10. Willie Galt, the intended receiver. Willie had a good first half, scored a touchdown. Darren Como was there for Seattle. 2nd down and 10. The winner here will play in 2 weeks at Seattle. The winner here will be the Western Division champion. At Cincinnati. Winner at Cincinnati. The wild card next Saturday is Houston at Cleveland. The winner of that game in 2 weeks will play at Buffalo. And Cincinnati now has home field advantage as long as they stay in the playoffs. 2nd and 10. Smith, the remaining back. And Schrader goes out. Rusty Tillman kind of keeps him from going into the bench.
Well, Seattle.
Any reason to pump fake once you get past the line?
Well, yeah, because there's a linebacker downfield. Maybe he doesn't remember where the line of scrimmage was. Yeah, that pump fake might freeze somebody to allow you to get out of bounds. Seattle's playing that deep zone if they can, because under the circumstances, up by 13 points, they want to try and force Schrader to come underneath the coverage, and that's exactly what they're doing. Take a look at the pump fake, though, he gives to try to freeze a linebacker right there. There it is. Now, the linebacker didn't know how far he's downfield. Actually, it's Hunter, number 23, who takes that little pump.
Doesn't quite make the first down. Jumping coming back in motion. And Steve Smith going over the top. Needed only about a foot for the first down, and they have it. And the two other games currently in progress, with still one to go this evening and one tomorrow night. Green Bay 26, Phoenix 17, fourth quarter. Right now, it looks as if Dallas is the number 1 pick. San Diego in front of Kansas City, 24-13. And here the score is Seattle 40 and the Los Angeles Raiders 27, with just over 13 minutes to go in the ball game. Raiders from the 46, and Schrader goes for it all, and it is caught. Fernandez, touchdown. yards. It's not over till it's over.
It isn't over. And Fernandez at 6'3" tall goes over Taylor at 5'10". The leaping ability plus the difference in size allows number 86 to get a score for the Raiders and put them right back in this game.
Chris Barr to attempt a point after. It's good.
A bit of a surprise because Seattle, as I mentioned, playing that very, very deep zone, yet they allow Fernandez to get past it. Take a look at the zone coverage. Moore, number 21 in front. So it's all left to Taylor downfield. Fernandez goes by him, and again, he's 5 inches taller. That's the difference in the leap. And that's the difference for the touchdown.
Boy, he's got an arm.
Well, another good deep throw by Schrader. He throws the ball, giving a receiver an opportunity to catch it. He puts it in an area. He knows he's got the height advantage with Fernandez down the sideline. Another strong throw by Schrader.
And the Raiders have pulled within 6 points of Seattle with 12 minutes and 54 seconds left in the ball game. AFL. Harmon on the return. To the 38, maybe the 39-yard line. Stephon Adams makes the tackle. Championship Monday, the Hall of Fame Bowl, LSU and Syracuse. In the big one, Fiesta Bowl. Dickenberg and Merlin Olsen will be there, our #1 team, for the #1 collegiate game in the country. Notre Dame versus West Virginia. And then on to the pageantry of the Orange Bowl. Don't overlook Miami, #2 against Nebraska, #6. That's a great lineup. Hall of Fame, Fiesta, and Orange here on NBC. Championship Monday. Seattle from their own 38 first down. A mix-up, and Craig just heads upfield. 4, maybe 5 yards. What happened, Jimmy?
He bobbled the snap right at the top, Charlie. Blair Bush had gone out of the contest. We'll have to take a check to see if it's Grant Fiesel in there or not. but he bobbled the ball right at the line of scrimmage and really
It is Feasel, yes.
It is Feasel, the second team center, and they had trouble with the snap. It looked as if Craig took a step back before the ball came up to him, but he had enough presence of mind to turn the play into a positive end, and they wind up with a gain of 4 or 5 yards.
Matt Millen got him. That's the first bad exchange he's had with Feasel, and he's been in since the first half when Blair Bush had the concussion. Here's John L. Williams. 46-yard line. Gain of 3. Third down and 2. Third down conversions against Denver. The Raiders, that's all they talked about. They said, we got to stop on third down. It seemed like they made every third down. They had a high percentage of third down conversions in the first half.
And Feasel in there at center, Charlie, has the inevitable position of going against Bill Pickel, who we mentioned earlier has been playing quite a football game.
The Raiders felt the game would turn on third down opportunity. Seahawks 7 of 11. That's about 68%. And it is intercepted. Eddie Anderson. Bad news, it's an interception. Good news, it's as good as a punt.
Yeah, it sure is. And deep inside the territory, down to the 13-yard line. That's not such a bad play by David Craig. Throws the ball up for grabs. However, as you mentioned, Charlie, it is just like a punt. My surprise is that they go deep down the field on third down and 2 situation. They've been running the football quite well, yet they decide to go out of the shotgun and deep down the field. This is the first bad throw that Craig has made all day long. He had Butler going to the corner, but it was Anderson who came across the field with the poor throw and gets taken down at the 12, 13-yard line. Sets up a long drive by the Raiders.
And Anderson, formerly with the Seattle Seahawks, makes the play. Here's Bo Jackson. He's to the 15-yard line. That's a couple. It'll be second down and 8. By quarter. 14-7. And this is total as you go across. 14-7 and 10-9. And the last one is count 40-34.
You know who's got back into this game? Willie Gault, who not only took good catches downfield earlier, but he's trying to block. Melvin Jenkins, some chicken fighting going on downfield, and that's all you got to do, stay in front of somebody and chicken fight with him.
And there's flags on the play. I think the Raiders may have left a little too soon. It'll be a first down if it stands up. It is Bo Jackson on the receiving end. But you had the feeling that the Raiders were in motion or somebody started a little too soon, and that Schrader was a little late coming away from center. It's just kind of a feel that you have. Going to be a motion call against
83 offense.
A lot of time.
Illegal motion.
It's on goal.
5 yards, still second down.
10-20.
Yeah, can you imagine? Remember the criticism when we decided to play both? Hey, some people will do anything for $17 million or $7 million. That's illegal. This guy's doing something that's legal. Why give him a bad time?
Second down. It just escapes the safety. And it is incomplete. Todd Christensen, the intended receiver. Ooh, now the margin is 6 points. The safety is worth 2. That was a very close call. Vernon Dean defensively for Seattle. He was putting the pressure on.
But he slips going back as well, Charlie. You're absolutely right. Nearly disaster. This would have put it 8 points away as Vernon Dean, number 31, goes sliding by, nearly getting the safety, but the ball just tipped away out to the outstretched arms of Christensen.
Third down, 13. Complete at the 21-yard line, and it's going to be a couple of yards short of the first down to James Lofton.
Well, that's surprising.
Is that a mistake? He's got to run a pattern past the post.
Yeah, you know, when you run a 12-yard pattern every day in practice, the exception is that if you need 14, you go get 14 yards. James Lofton has been in this league long enough. He's been a 7-time All-Pro. He needs to get enough yardage for a first down on that curl pattern.
Gossett kicking. Bobby Joe Edmonds, good kick. 30-yard line. 35. 50 has only the kicker. does not get by him. A good play by Jeff Gossett. He saves the touchdown. Edmonds put a pretty good move on him, too. 49 yards on the kick and a 30-yard return.
Bet that Edmonds would have been right back in the Pro Bowl. Great ability.
Seattle at the Raiders' 41-yard line. 9 minutes and 8 seconds left. Seattle up by 6. Swing pass right side. It's Kurt Warner pushed down by Jerry Robinson.
And how many times does a punter get to make the saving tackle, especially against a runner as good as Edmonds? He gave him the sideline and took the leg away from him.
Let's check the other scores. Green Bay improves their margin over Phoenix in the fourth quarter, and San Diego defeats Kansas City 24-13. That is a final. 61,127 on hand here today with 5,400 plus no-shows. John L. Williams to the 29-yard line. And it'll be a first down.
You know, we kind of were joking earlier about the nose tackle, Bill Pickel, and just not getting beaten too badly. Well, he's been making plays all day. He sheds the guard, 65 Bailey, and gets in on the tackle. My notes on Pickel, we mentioned there are many scientists in the group. My notes on him say strong, intense, and smart.
He's a scientist.
He's an intelligent nose tackle, intelligent man, and a good player.
First down at the 29-yard line. Craig goes for it all, and it is incomplete.
And who is it? It's Blades against
Brian
Fellows.
Blades,
The
yes.
same exact matchup that the Seahawks have been getting all day. And if Craig was on target toward them, they would have scored several touchdowns in this situation. Fellows once again takes the outside move and gives the inside to Brian Blades. How many times is he going to give him this pattern? Amazing.
Second down and 10. Chuck Knox, the head coach of the Seattle Seahawks. And again, the winner here is the Western Division champion and will move on. The loser, home for the holidays. 8:11 left. Seattle leads by 6. Here's John L. Williams. Yard line. That should be a first down. Lyndon King and Van McElroy make the tackle.
The Seahawks can play conservatively here because even if they are forced to settle for the field goal, they go up by 9 and force the Raiders to have to score twice in this contest.
And you want to stay on the ground here too and let the clock move. 7:40 and counting time remaining. They can very quickly, 5 minutes can pass very quickly. The last 2 minutes always pass, take an eternity, but the next 5 can move in a hurry. First down at the Raiders 18. John L. Williams. 13-yard line. He has 5. It'll be second down and 5. Jerry Robinson with the tackle. Mike Shanahan, head coach of the Raiders. When we talked to him yesterday, and there's Chuck Knox. When we talked to Shanahan yesterday, he said in reality it has been a year that if you would have said in August, if it comes down to the 60th game, you're playing for the championship, will you take it? He said, oh yes, that's what it is.
Despite the fact of a 7-8 record, you're absolutely right. That what matters is that you continue and you're playing in January, not the fact that you're 7-8 or 9-7.
And you saw Hall of Famer Willie Brown, assistant coaches for the Raiders. Kurt Warner, 9-yard line, has 4. It's going to be third down and a yard and a half. Scott Davis is the man who brought him down, and Kurt is injured again. He's reaching for his right ankle. It was his left knee in the first half. So everybody is getting bunged up at this time of the year. Okay, now all along our network, let's alert you that we did miss our station break. You know, we had some satellite problems, so we're going to take the station break that was to come at the end of the third quarter. And are you ready? Here we go. We'll be back after these messages from your local inning in the ball game. Third down and short yardage. Donnell Williams. And he is going to be stopped for a loss. He loses close to 5 yards as Lyndon King makes the play, number 52 for the Raiders.
It really doesn't matter.
I'm playing a numbers game about the field goal versus touchdown.
Yeah, it really doesn't matter. I think that Chuck Knox, he'd like the touchdown, but a field goal gives him the same purpose in that he forces the Raiders to score twice. They would go up by 9 points with 5:33 to go and counting down. That's a tough thing to do, to score twice against the Seattle defense.
An attempt of 32 yards by Norm Johnson for his 5th field goal with Largent holding, and he's got it 5 in a row. Seattle 43, Raiders 34. We'll be back. This is Charlie Jones. Jimmy Cephalo, Kurt Warner, who was injured on the play, has been assisted to the sideline. We are awaiting a report. We have not gotten a report as yet. Norm Johnson will be kicking off with Tim Brown and Stephon Adams, the deep back. And this is Brown at the 15. Boy, it's exciting when he returns. And he continues to add yardage to that NFL record, breaking Gale Sayers' record. Desby Glasgow with the tackle. And also for Dave Craig, the quarterback of the Seattle Seahawks, he has thrown for 410 yards in this ball game. This will be the fourth game that he has been over 400 yards, more than 400 yards. And his record against Denver, 418 yards. And that's what he'll be shooting at. And Schrader to throw. Has pressure, steps away, throws it away. Good play. He threw it at the feet of Steve Smith. He was avoiding the loss, stopping the clock. To those viewers who have just joined us for the magical world of Disney, please be sure to stay with us. The Disney program will be seen in its entirety immediately following the football game, except for Mountain and Pacific time zone stations, where the program will be seen at its regular time. 2nd down and 10. Raiders from their own 34-yard line. 5:03 left in the ballgame. That's a lot of time. Todd Christensen, his first reception of the ball game, only his 12th of the year. Because of injury.
Again, Christensen, though, if you watch him run this pass pattern, it's not the Christensen of old. He's limping going down the field. See what he's got a
that hurts. Yeah.
He's got a hitch in his giddy up going down the field. But Moyer over the top, and the Christensen, the smart possession receiver, gets enough yardage for a first down.
Well, I certainly hope his giddy up gets well.
Timeout number 1, Seattle.
Seattle takes a timeout with 4:31 left. We'll be back in a moment. The loser is out. The kind of game that you want to have at the end of the year.
Yeah, it really is. For the players, this is really what it's all about. They're playing for a lot of things, including $10,000 per player. And
that's if you make the playoffs.
That's if you make the playoffs. The winner here will collect $10,000.
Christensen again. And the hurry-up offense, good for 5 yards. It is 2nd down and 5. As the Raiders, as Jimmy pointed out, have to score twice. The margin is 9 points. And again, Todd Christensen, 3 in a row. First down. Oh, what a story is developing. They'll have an injury timeout. It is a Seattle player who is down. Stops the clock at 4:01. We do want to apologize all across the country. We've been working on the satellite problems. You know, we have lost the video, we lost audio, we lost satellite to some parts of the country. But, you know, everybody at NBC on both coasts working at it here in Los Angeles and in Burbank and also in New York, trying to get it all squared away just as soon as we possibly can. Vernon Dean, the player who is shaken up.
This is the 2nd time that Seattle has stopped the clock in this particular drive. The first time because they only had 10 people on the field. They had to call a timeout. And now because of the injury to Vernon Dean. Christensen, they really missed him in the offense all year long because of his great possession abilities. You see how he feels the linebacker, that's Wyman, inside and finds the open area in between Dean and on the outside of Wyman. That is what a great possession receiver does. He finds a hole.
Schrader now has thrown for more than 300 yards, 19 of 34, 302. 3 touchdowns and an interception. In a battle of the quarterback. Down the middle, incomplete. And he was going for Christensen again. I like that. When you find out something that's working, you come back to him and back to him and force it to take away. Force him to take it away. Question of whether they would activate him or not. He's missed 9 of 10 weeks, and they said only if he can be a part of the offense.
Yeah, there's no sense in taking someone else off the roster if you're not going to put him in and let him play during the football game. And now in the fourth quarter, he's exerting himself. Maybe that calf muscle is starting to loosen up, allowing him to run a better pattern.
Good protection. Incomplete. Fernandez, the intended receiver. And Patrick Hunter was juggling it, and it's out of bounds. And so we'll bring it back. It'll be 3rd down and 10.
The Schrader once again wanted to go to Todd Christensen, who was working underneath. You see him in the right part of your screen. But a nice play on the corner to step in front of the receiver and nearly get the interception down. Patrick Hunter, number 23. Now here's a look at Christensen working inside, again trying to find the hole. David Wyman, number 92. Steps in front of him, and that forces Schrader to go downfield to Fernandez.
And of course, Patrick Hunter made the defensive play, missed a few ball games because of that auto injury that he had there when the car went off the road. Schrader, good protection again. And it is Christensen again. Quality time, you go to the best.
Coming into today's game, all of the tight ends from the Raiders had 18 catches all year long. He's got 4 on this drive alone.
A touchdown, you're within 2. There's pressure. He's throwing it away.
Yeah, and
oh, that's outside. That's lane 8. That's way outside.
He should have done it earlier in the game when he threw the interception. This time he made absolutely sure that no one was going to catch that football.
And Jacob Green was in the neighborhood. Yeah, he was putting the pressure on.
Here's the catch by Christensen on the previous play. He seems to be running a little bit better, working against Wyman. Wyman knows where he is at all times. But in between the linebacker and the defensive back, a good throw by Schrader, and the possession ability of Todd Christensen to find a hole. He may be, he's not been playing much this year. He's probably quite winded at this point.
Well, they go with 4 wide in this formation. I'd want him back there, though. Over the middle, Smith. 6-yard line. Steve Smith. Harper and Moyer with the tackle at the 6. First down and goal to go. 2:43 and counting down. That's legal. That's just to stop the clock.
As long as there's no pressure on the quarterback, the new rule for the NFL actually instituted a year ago is that he can simply throw the football into the ground to stop the clock. Smith on the previous play, he's right in the middle of your screen. See, he's going to just find his little hole and sneak underneath. That's a planned play. It's the one they scored the touchdown on earlier, allowing the defensive lineman into Schrader and slipping the fullback into the flat for a big pickup.
And Todd Christensen back in the ballgame. The Raiders have all 3 timeouts remaining. The Seahawks have 2. They had to call 1 when they had only 10 men on the field. 43-34. Well, those are the eyes of a leader. Incomplete. Christensen, the intended receiver. Robinson and Moyer for the defense.
Well, there are 3 receivers into the pattern, 4 defensive backs. Who's double teamed? Did you see the blitz coming from the outside? Todd Christensen is. Moyer on one side, another defensive back on the other. Schrader has got to begin looking to his wide people. If they're going to go man-to-man against people like Willie Gault, Tim Brown, James Lofton, Irvin Fernandez, don't go to the double team just because Christensen has caught a couple of balls. He's got to start looking outside.
That was Eugene Robinson that came across to make the defensive play. 3rd down, goal to go, 6-yard line. He was throwing it just as he was nailed. Running out of time, running out of real estate, 2:24. Boy, was it. 4th down, goal to go.
Now, they should kick a field goal right here because they need 9 points.
Yeah, and they'll do it. Quick check of the other two games. Fourth quarter, Green Bay still in front of Phoenix. Final, San Diego defeats Kansas City.
This would bring them within 6, and again, as we've been saying, they've got to score a second time anyway. It doesn't matter if you get the touchdown first or the field goal first.
24 yards.
As long as you get them.
And it is good. Chris Barr from 24 yards out. That is his third of the game. 26, 28, and 24. We'll be back with a kickoff in a moment. What's at stake? The winner wins the AFC West. The loser goes home. The Seahawks win with a tie. The winner plays in 2 weeks at Cincinnati. And wait a minute. Seattle wants a timeout. Seattle wants to count them in. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 9, 10, 11. No, they had the right.
The Raiders lined up as if they were going to go for an onside kick with their entire kickoff team on the left side, and it didn't seem Seattle was prepared for it, so they're exchanging their hands team for the regular kickoff return.
This telecast presented by authority of the National Football League, intended for the private use of our audience. Any rebroadcast or other use of this telecast without the express written consent of the Raiders and the National Football League is prohibited. This being the property of the National Football League, Seattle Seahawks, and Los Angeles Raiders, all rights reserved. The Raiders received a letter from John Sullivan in his class as a 6th grader at Leroy Nichols Elementary School in Lodi, California. One of their teammates, young man David Rodriguez, only 11 years of age, passed away this year. A Raider fan, his whole family was a Raider fan, and they're all watching and cheering on for the Raiders. And they sent a lovely letter to the ball club. Chris Barr will be kicking off. Edmonds is the deep back if it goes down to him, and it does. And Edmonds takes it at the 7. He's out to the 15, opening at the 20, and returns to the 27-yard line, where Vance Mueller makes the tackle. 2:12, time remaining. 6 points the margin, 43-37. The Raiders have to stop Seattle and then score a touchdown on the extra point. Seattle, they want to run out the clock, score if possible.
And the Raiders could use the 2-minute warning as another timeout in this situation with 2:12 left, but they've got to stop Seattle on this first down situation to take advantage of that.
Jonell Williams. Good continuing effort. Scott Davis makes the tackle.
Timeout number 1, Los Angeles.
And Los Angeles, good move. They take a timeout at 2:04, so the next play is when they use the 2. They save 4 seconds by doing the timeout here rather than using it later. That's a very smart move. It gives us an opportunity to thank Joe Costanza, our statistician, Ron Lux and Chuck Panama, our spotters, Sano Taken, Doug Mann, who have been helping us in the booth, and a Merry Christmas to everyone. Thank you, gentlemen. Sam Bellini, our stage manager, trying to stay warm. By the way, we never did mention the weather, did we? It was in the 50s at about 58, humidity 99%. Cold and damp Christmas weather for Los Angeles. Not for Cleveland, perhaps, but for Los Angeles. And a good crowd, crowd of 61,127, and they pretty well stayed for this one. Early in the ball game, we saw Howie Long in, but really he wasn't very effective.
He didn't play all that much. He also had a calf problem that they finally corrected through surgery, but he's been trying to work his way back into the lineup. Christensen played a larger role than Long did this afternoon.
2nd and 5. First down, Seattle, Kevin Harmon. Harmon running in place of Kurt Warner. We still do not have an injury report on Kurt. Van McElroy makes the tackle. And now the 2-minute warning, officially 1:58, will be given to both benches. And Seattle has a first down. We'll take a timeout. We'll be back to the Coliseum in just...
Entertainment of our military audience. Any publication, reproduction, or other use of the description and accounts of the game without the express written consent of the National Football League is prohibited. Any commercial or other use of the program is similarly prohibited.
Johnson, 5 of 5 field goals. That's an A+. No, that one you take home and ask him to sign in person. You don't slide that sucker under the door. Schrader, I tell you, that's That's an A- only because of the A+ of Craig. Brown setting the new record. I'd say 1 an A+. I'd say the Raiders an A-. Kevin Harmon. 46-yard line. It'll be second down and 5. And the Raiders take a timeout as Jerry Robinson made the last tackle. And we'll be back in just a moment. San Diego ends the season on a high note. Kansas City on a low note, 24-13. 43-37. 6 points, the margin. 1:51, time remaining. John L. Williams. Going to be to the 49-yard line. It's going to be third down and 2.
And they elect to use their final timeout. Yeah, the whole game hinges, of course, on them stopping here. But what it means if they do get the football back is that it changes the perspective from which Schrader can throw the football. He's got to think about sidelines instead of getting Christensen into the middle of the field in a possession pattern.
And Howie Long, this is it. Comes down to this play. He should be there, and he is. Also, keep in mind the 45-second clock, because if Seattle has the first down here, they're going to win the ball game. If they do not make the first down, they will then take the full 45 seconds off of the clock, then take a 5-yard penalty, and then kick. So it will be less than a minute, maybe 45 to 50 seconds is all the time that the Raiders could possibly have with no timeout. Like you say, Jim, they'll have to work the sideline. But first things first, the championship rides on this one play.
That also stops the clock with the sack, and so it works in the favor of the Raiders in a couple of ways. Again, Greg Townsend, the only man who's been providing pressure on Dave Craig all afternoon long.
Now the clock starts.
Right, exactly, but it still sets up that 5-second situation for them.
Stops the clock for 5 seconds inside the 2 minutes, and then it is started. Here they'll take the full countdown there. That's the 30-second clock following the sack rather than the 45. And they'll run it all the way down, sure.
And with the Raiders, they have a 10-man front. They're trying to go after this kick rather than set up the return.
And the sack, and what the sack did, delay of game.
And final timeout.
The reason they called timeout is because they had the 10-man front. The Raiders came up with the 10-man front, and Seattle was not ready for it. They did not like the protection they had for their kicker, and so they used the final timeout. But it is a big mistake.
No, they won't. They don't need the timeout. Seattle doesn't need the timeout. Take it now, make sure of this situation, because you know they figure to win by not letting the Raiders score. Because if the Raiders score, Seattle's not going to. You can't, as you've always told me, you can't save that timeout and use it another time.
You can't use it for next week and carry it over to next season.
Another reminder, primetime NBC tonight, you'll see it in its entirety. The legend of Davy Crockett lives again on the magical world of Disney. Family Ties, Day by Day, the Sunday night movie. She was marked for murder. You'll see all of that lineup, the primetime lineup, in its entirety after the game, of course, on the Mountain Time zones and here on the West Coast in its regular time. Tim Brown is the return man. High and short fair catch taken at the 34-yard line. A little pushing, a little bumping. That's incidental. They're not going to drop a flag on that. Grant Feasel, the center, was down 26 yards of the punt. That's in reality, that's what they wanted to do. Would like to add another 5 or 10 yards. No return. That was the key as far as Seattle is concerned. Now for the Raiders. 1:08. 67 yards to go for the championship with no timeout. 4 wide receivers and 7 in the secondary. Incomplete.
And he may have thrown that ball on purpose into the ground. Again, he knows that if the ball is caught in the field of play, no chance to get out of bounds, and the time continues to run out the clock. Christensen not in the game now because of that situation. The possession receiver who's going to run those patterns in the middle of the field is of no use without any timeouts remaining.
The speed that you have, Tim Brown, Willie Gault, James Lofton, Mervyn Fernandez. As a group, they have to be the 4 fastest in the National Football League. The margin is 6 points. Time remaining 1:01. Incomplete. Tim Brown. 3rd down.
There's very little you can do as a quarterback in this kind of situation. Seattle is dropping very deep into the secondary. A play that comes to mind that is used sometimes in this situation is what's called a hook and lateral, where they throw a ball to a wide receiver and pitch it back to a trailing running back along the side. But there are very few play selections that will work under these circumstances.
3 wide receivers on the far side, 1 on the near side. Complete. Fernandez with the clock moves. 47, 46, 45. 45-yard line, 1st down. 22 yards on the play. He'll spike it. And he does. That stops it. Took him a lot of time to get there. A game of ebb and flow from both sides. Game of key plays, key mistakes. A mistake made in this ball game by Bobby Joe Edmonds, the return man, on a punt that was short. Came up to it. He was sliding. We weren't sure if he touched it or not. But there's another key to that play.
There sure is. Now take a look here. We couldn't determine from this angle whether the ball actually touched him. This ball recovered by the Raiders, but a Seahawk actually touches the football next. Then it was covered by the Raiders, and that gave them opportunity to be in the game at this juncture.
There's a great arm into the end zone, maybe too strong. Incomplete, 24 seconds left. Fernandez, the intended receiver. Boy, he does have a gun, doesn't he?
Could throw it a long way. Gault was also down there. Fernandez, we mentioned earlier, at 6'3", has good leaping ability. He took the ball away from a defender earlier for a touchdown. Here's Willie Gault going against Hunter, number 23. A lot of pushing and shoving going on down there. And there's usually, and almost at the end of the end zone, Gault nearly pulls it in. He would have been out of bounds, however. There's usually a mop-up man in those circumstances, someone who steps 4 or 5 yards away from the pile in case there's a deflection.
Ball just outside the 45-yard line, 3rd down and 10. Incomplete. Tim Brown, the intended receiver. When it came down to the defensive play that the Raiders had to make, Greg Townsend made it when he sacked Craig. Jenkins was there defensively for the Seahawks. Now it is 4th down and 10 as Craig looks on from the far side. What a game he has had. 17 seconds left.
John L. Williams sitting next to him deserves a rest at this point. Over 200 yards in total offense for the fullback from Seattle.
4th down. Incomplete. Seattle holds. They take over on down. All they need is 1 snap, 6 seconds to expire, and the Seattle Seahawks win their first division championship in their history.
And Chuck Knox has been taking a great deal of heat over the past couple of weeks. New owner Ken Behring has said that he wished his team had more spark, more innovation in his offense. Excitement. And yet, the first time that a championship can be held in the hands of the Seattle Seahawks, it happens in a year when they are 9-7, and a year in which Chuck Knox has taken a great deal of heat.
And they do it today in a very exciting manner. A disappointing day for Mike Shanahan and the Los Angeles Raiders. And that's it. Now the exchange of the shaking of hands and congratulations. The Seattle Seahawks defeat the Los Angeles Raiders 43-37. The Seahawks are the champions. They'll play at Cincinnati in 2 weeks. And we'll be back in Los Angeles in just a moment.